Hi, I would like to present how to use a copilot in Vim or NeoVim. So what I'm actually talking about, I'm talking about this. This is the repository located on GitHub, and it allows you to use an OpenAI codex to suggest code and entire functions in real time right from your editor. So you can use Vim or NeoVim, and this way you will be able to type the code much faster. It's trained on billions of lines of public code, and as you can read, GitHub Copilot turns natural language prompts, including comments and methods names, into coding suggestions across dozens of languages. We are talking, of course, about programming languages. And it is actually a Vim NeoVim plugin for GitHub Copilot. So what you need actually, you need a subscription, GitHub Copilot subscription, and it's free for verified students and maintainers of popular open source projects on GitHub. And you can read about it. Then you can install NeoVim or eventually the latest patch of Vim, as it is mentioned here, and I highlighted this number. And I will explain you how to actually install newer version of Vim. And after that, you need to install nodejs, and then you need to install GitHub Copilot Vim using Vimplug, Packer, and Vim or any other plugin manager, right? And there is a guide tutorial how to do it. And at the end, what you actually need, you have to start NeoVim or Vim and evoke the Copilot setup. And we will go further and we will install the latest Vim that is possible. And I will explain in a moment. Okay, so here we go. I will turn on my terminal, and now we can type the code. So first of all, it's good to check the Vim version in the CLI, and you can see I'm using 8.1. So what if I want to use a newer one version? The best option is just to compile the Vim 9.0 over the new one, and I will use a git to clone the repository. So this one, and it will clone the repository into the Vim directory. And after that, what I need to do, I need to go into the Vim directory. Okay, unable to get into the repository. That is quite interesting. So we'll try something else. And one more time. And here we go. Clean that one more time. And yeah, it was something wrong with the network. So I'm downloading now the repository. Okay, excellent. And then, okay, resolving deltas. Yeah, we need to wait a little bit longer because the repository is quite huge, over 200 megabytes. So yeah. And what we are going to do now, we will just compile the Vim, the newer version, from sources. That's what we want to achieve. We will need a new Vim. So here we go, and it's done. Yeah, cd Vim now. Inside of it, you have a source directory. So cd source to the source. You can list it here, and we have files here. We have headers, we have C files. So now we want to compile it. Okay, so first command is simple, make, and it's making. Of course, we need G++ and other libraries to be able to compile. And if you want to compile a code, you need to find out what packages you need to install. That is interesting. tgit in configure error not found. You need to install a terminal library, for example, and curses. So we can do it. Sudo apt install and curses. And sorry. And okay, that is interesting. Lib and curses dev. Sorry, it exactly tells you what you need to install. Lib and curses. You need to always read carefully information that the CLI is returning, because in Linux environment we are trying to achieve one simple thing, that we want to inform user what is missing and which package he has to install or she has to install to be able to make it work. So now I'm waiting for the library, but it's failed. That is interesting. One more time. Yeah, sometimes there is a problem with the network. Yeah, and now it should work, and we can try one more time. Make. We will see the situation, and it is every time it goes through those files that you can see, it's checking everything. And if there is something that is missing, it will tell you exactly what you need to install. For example, GCC or G++, or like you see lib and curses dev or another library or a compiler to be able to make it work. Just because it requires it. Okay, so we will wait a little bit longer, and you can see it's checking all those requirements, and I hope this time it will work. Okay, linker. Okay, now you can see it's taking C files, and it will just try to make it work. Okay, so I will go back to the explanation of the copilot, because it's quite interesting, and there is also a link what actually copilot can, and I'm going to present it. Here we go, and you can see your AI per programmer, and yeah, it uses the OpenAI codex to suggest code and entire functions. And actually there is information that you can use Copilot for individuals, so you can pay $10 per month or 19 per month or per user for business. It depends on the need actually. And what's more, here you have, for example, the example, and that's how the completion works. And what it reminds me that a long time ago I was using Eclipse, for example, or Visual Studio Code, and there is something like Copilot for Visual Studio Code, and yeah, we can use it. Of course, there are people who knows about it, and a lot of people who write the code, they are using it. But a long time ago I was using Eclipse, and I was typing Java code, and it also had a completion code, so it was extremely fast to write the code. But I know that, I'm not sure who is still using Eclipse, because we have excellent software from JetBrains, and if you will type it here, JetBrains, yeah, and you can see the software, and we have IntelliJ IDEA, and I think that developer tools, IntelliJ IDEA, this is it. deleting Java and Kotlin IDE, and you can use this, and most of programmers are using this IDE or Java. However, we will go back to the copilot, and then we can see actually we can compare plans, and no, I won't like to start my free trial, and you can use GitHub to be able to get into this tool, and then we can try to make it work. So you can see the first actually step is completed. So the next step, and I would like to see, is there any error? GCC, it looks like everything is fine. So the next command is make test, and we need to type it, and we need to wait a little bit longer for this. And then the next command is simple. You can see there are 2 errors. That's interesting. Permission denied. Libtool. Okay, we can try sudo make test, and we will see it working correctly. Error 2, the same. Quite compile, encoding. Libtool not found. So next thing, libtool not found. So what you need to do, you can try to locate libtool. We will see it installed on here. So sudo apt install libtool. I'm using the WSL2 machine, so that is why. Sorry for this. And eventually we can install the libtool bin. Oh, come on. Please download it. Yeah, it's patched. Okay, this one, autoconf. Yeah. And now we will try to make test once again. Permission denied. That is interesting. I suppose that there is something wrong with the path, so I will have to figure it out, because it should be located in user bin directory, right? So we can try this command, like libtool. Okay, well, first of all, which libtool? Libtool not found. That is interesting. And we can try to libtool bin, because this is something like that. Libtool bin is required also. And then we will be able to get into user bin directory, and we will see it located there. I don't know why connection to Mirror's Ubuntu.com is working so slowly. Yeah, connected. Go, and now we try to which, and yeah, it's located in US libtour. Excellent. So just make test once again. It's running. Now it should work actually. Ah, lovely. This is it. I guess it's testing. One error. That is interesting. Test failure. Make file 53 report. Living directory. Keep test errors. Okay, so it tells me that the screen is not enough, big. So I will just, because I changed the size of the command lines, actually the terminal. So probably it was a problem. And now it should work. I hope so. Executing that. Okay. Have to wait. I know this is the long process, so compiling something. I remember when I was compiling sources in Gentoo. All the same situation you have if you're building your own distro you're learning Linux from scratch. Yeah, it requires a lot of time and knowledge how to build the entire system. But if you really want to know the Linux, it's a good idea to find the time and to try Linux from scratch. And try to create your own distro. And I know that this is something that seems difficult, but I think that it's a good idea just to try. And even if you will fail, and you will fail many times, do not give up and try to do this, just because this is the best option to learn the operating system. I mean, the Linux, actually, how it is working, how everything is working correctly, how to compile something into the kernel to make it work. For example, if you have a network card and you need to compile a firmware into the kernel. So this is a good option to find out how to make it work and how to do it correctly. And of course, yes, then after that, if you know how to do it, and it happens that sometimes on some forum you publish information how to compile firmware, and many people saying, this is not a good choice for someone who is a beginner. And I can confirm, yes, it is not, just because you need to know exactly what are you doing. However, sometimes this is the only solution, because it is not able. If someone is not able to use the network card and he has a laptop and he or she wants to use actually a network in laptop or a desktop, then this is the only way, actually. So I think that it's a good idea to provide explanation and tutorials how to make it work and how to do it correctly step by step. Of course, with some explanations, warning, how it can behave, what can happen. And yeah, this is extremely problematic, because sometimes it may happen that it can break the system. It shouldn't actually. Usually it does not, but sometimes it may happen. So you need to know how to use emergency mode, recovery mode, how to go back to the, for example, previous state, right? To the previous kernel version. It's good to have a backup before you will start something like firmware compilation, right? And that's how it should be done. Actually, at work, when you work in the company, it doesn't matter actually where you work, but before you will do anything, it's good to have a backup. If you have a backup, you're safe actually, because you can revert quickly changed, and even if you will fail, there is no problem because you can go back to the previous state. And this is the way we usually do. But the best idea is to use a test environment. And this is something that it's good to have, because when you're testing something, if you will break it, you can actually try to fix it instead of reverting change by restoring the configuration of the whole machine from the snapshot or from the backup. You can try to figure it out and to fix it on a broken system. Get into the emergency mode and try to find out what is the reason of the error actually, and is it possible to fix, is it possible to solve the problem. And usually there is always a solution, but you need to take your time. And you can see it's interesting, executed over 5,000 tests and skipped 120, 0 failed. Excellent. This is a very good information. So the last option is to make install, and it should work with sudo make install. Always run make install with sudo or as root. And here we go, because it requires permission and it should work. And now if I will type vim version, it should show me that I'm using the version 9.0. Lovely, we have newer vim. This is really good information for us. And now we can go back to the copilot, and we need to install nodejs, and we will go. That is interesting, because I will show you. We have nodejs here, and Windows Mac OS source code, and Windows binary, Linux binaries arms. We can try to use this one, 64-bit, and we should actually copy the address and go back to the command line, and yeah, and something like that. And here we go. And now we should be able to see the home, maybe. Oh no, this one, this way, the home, dw, yeah, and wget. Try to, but I'm wondering, is it possible to, because there is an information how to install. I will go back in a moment. There is an information because I'm using a subsystem. So install on Windows subsystem for Linux. Okay, so I will click this. There is an information how to do it, and you need to have a GCC or G++ installed 10.1 or newer, and Python, and we can try to this one, first one. Okay, but not apt-get, but install apt, just like that. And you can see everything is installed as it is. Lovely. And okay, configure make so. But there is no information what to do later. Okay, extrude macros building. I don't really like such explanation because it doesn't explain to you doesn't explain how to install the installing nodejs and here sudo make install, but there is no information. Okay, you need to actually download this and this package and blah blah blah, and of course you have information operating system, there is a table and lovely lovely lovely, but where is actually the section to download it? To be honest, this is insane. And I will try to figure it out in a moment. And because I don't really like this way of they are trying to explain it. So first of all, the best and the easiest option is just the sudo apt install, just like that, nodejs. And it's already the newest version. Lovely. And if you will now type node version, it will show that we have 14.21.2 in my case. And then if you have nodejs, install GitHub Copilot Vim using Vim plug. I tried to do this code. You can see git clone Copilot Vim git Vim pack GitHub start Copilot. See it's working correctly. I'm not sure, but okay, Vim, just like that. And if I will hit Copilot setup, will it work? Node.js version 16 or newer required but found 14. Okay. Escape with exclamation mark. So I need a newer version of GS. That is interesting. So at least I need that version one more time. Which version? 16. Okay. At least. So we need to understand that we can use something like version. We need to add actually I don't really like this way because I don't really like to use CPA. And you can see it's set up version 16. And we can try to do something else. Because now you can see it's running code. means the apt is working. And yeah, sudo apt get installed on nodejs. So here we go. Lovely. Installing the version 16. Okay. Let's have that. And now if we will use the version, that is interesting. Okay, we try sudo apt upgrade node.js. Okay, we'll try this. That looks like the upgrade process went for all those packages. Seriously, new Linux headers. I don't really like it because it consumes time. I'm just wondering. Probably I will have to uninstall the current version of Node.js and install it again from the because the repositories had it. I will see. Lovely Mac J8. Yeah, kernel release, new kernel, and Docker. Try to see if it's working. Okay, one more time, Node version. So all the time sudo apt remove huge Node.js. Okay. Okay, purging apt it. Some cleanup is good to make it work. And now I'm trying to install Node.js one more time. And it's interesting because now it's unpacking Node.js version 16.20.0 from dev package. And now we will see Node version. Why it shows version 40? To be honest, I have no idea. And I don't know. That's a little bit insane. Because what I did to remove it once again. Yeah, I want to. Try. Version. That is strange. I would like to see this one because I will cut the source, not source list, and you can see this is it. apt. Oh, sorry, sudo. I will remove this version. Huge nodejs, and yeah, I will remove it, and I will use it. I will install it using the nvm tool because I don't want to try this option. URL, this one. Okay, and now source, but that's HRC file, and we'll see nvm version. Quite interesting. Lift remote. As we can see, we have a lot of version, and we want to install the latest 20.2.0. So nvm install, just like that, v20 0, something like that. Yeah. There we go, and we will see node version. Yes, we have it. Lovely. And now I can run the Vim and go pilot setup. Finally. First copy your one-time code. Instead of copying, it's good to write down it in some notepad. I will write down it 0241 EB5C. And yeah, and open this in the browser. And after that, you have to log in there. Switch to the browser because it's something like that. Sign in is, use a security key. And now I need to touch my security key. I'm using actually a YubiKey. And now enter the code displayed on your device. Lovely, because I have not only a YubiKey but also a authentication application and two-factor authentication. And that's why it's I think that protecting a GitHub is a very good idea. Make sure the code correctly. So that was too quick. And one more time, but just I think that this is something like this, but I'm not sure. Notification. Okay. But why 2? Why 4 back down? The code is extremely. That is interesting because I never seen something like that. I always put the 6 digit instead of 8. So that's why it's quite difficult to understand what actually happened now. Just to be honest, I have no idea why it happens like that. I have an application on my phone, but it didn't provide me any code. But that's strange, and I will try to use something like different option. And it seems that I'm logged in. You can see, actually, it's my profile. So I will try to one more time. Login device. Enter the code displayed on your device. But no code is actually displayed. And why? Your profile, your discussion, tab sponsors, upgrade settings. Copilot, you can see moderation. But I don't see any devices. To be honest, I need to switch back to this and I need to find out why it's actually asking to device activation. Ah, okay, so this is the 8-digit code. So what I need to do actually, my fault. I need to type this code into the browser. So 0241EB5C. My fault. Continue. And now using authorize GitHub Copilot plugin, and then congratulations, your device is now connected. And if I will go back here, you can see that I need to press enter, and here we go. And that's how it looks like. And now we can close actually the window with congratulations that I'm set. And now it's good to have an explanation how to use GitHub. I think that I have to confess that I can try something like this, and we can use it. But to be honest, I don't know where it should be located, because we can let the copilot to. We can enable copilot actually for the git commit, markdown, and YAML file type. And but I need to figure it out to where to use it, because currently I don't know actually where I can put this code. And but I'd like to see. I will do this. And you can see I'm not sure it's working. That is interesting. I just would like to see something like package main fonts I don't see it. There's actually, to be honest, something like this, but hmm. This is quite interesting, to be honest. Copilot requires a subscription. Ah, that's the reason. I will present it on a screen. You can see github.com, GitHub Copilot sign up. And here you have your a year per programmer, and you can pay monthly plan, and then you have an access to GitHub Copilot. And then it's working, because you have to pay for this, and that's the reason it doesn't work, because when you will pay, then it will connect. I mean, actually it is already connected, but it is not working because I didn't pay for this. And you can see you can get code suggestions in more than a dozen coding languages, including Python, JavaScript, TypeScript, Go, and Ruby. Plugins into either Visual Studio Code, VS Code, Neo, Vim, and JetBrains. So lovely. And sign up for an annual subscription and get 2 months free and cancel anytime. So I don't want to share my credit card number and any other information like this, because this is something really stupid. You should never provide such information in the internet. So actually I explained how to use it, and I will disable it. So I hope I explained well. So thank you very much. Have a nice day. Take care. Bye bye.